right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. This is a team that we've talked about ad nauseum at how great Sean McVay is at developing talent. So great, in fact, that it seems like every season a great majority handful of their coaches get poached by other teams and they have to rebuild their staff constantly. And we have two new additions to the Sean McVay Rams staff, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. I think there's some great additions. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it on the other side. These both two different articles, both from Turf Show Times. First one, Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams are putting the finishing touches on their coaching staff ahead of the 2024 offseason. They've hired former Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator Dave Ragone, I believe that's how you pronounce that one, as their next quarterback coach per a report by ESPN Adam Schefter. Ragone was Arthur Smith's right-hand man on the offensive side of the ball. The Falcons' offense performed well under Smith and Ragone, despite poor quarterback play from the likes of Ritter, Heineke, and Mariota. Atlanta was effective in the ground game even before they used a top 10 selection on running back Bijan Robinson and maximized production from the likes of Cordell Patterson and Tyler Algier. The second article from Turf Show Times is Sean McVay has hired Nate Scheelhaas as the Los Angeles Rams' next passing game specialist, according to a report from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Scheelhaas has an intriguing name. He is just 33 years old and was most recently the offensive coordinator at Iowa State. Scheelhaas was the Cyclones receivers coach when now NFC West rival QB Brock Purdy was in Ames. He spent 2 years as the offensive coordinator before being tapped by McVay and moving on to the professional level. Nick, I think these are two very intriguing hires by Coach Sean McVay. I'm curious what your thoughts are on these two hires, but Rams fans, let us know in the comment section below. These are both really great hires. Which one do you think is going to be the most impactful hire by the Rams as far as impacting their offense going forward? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your initial thoughts on these two new hires by Coach McVay?
Well, what the Rams have done under Sean McVay, and Rams fans, please forgive me, my voice is a little hoarse. What the Rams have done, and we've seen it in their coaching staff, is they built a culture of strong coaching in terms of football junkies, young guys, up and comers who become great coaches in their own right, guys who live and breathe and die football. And anytime you're trying to keep a strong culture together, it's really important that when you hire people to fill open positions, to fill positions that were vacated, you bring in guys who don't upset that culture. It's really important to keep that intact. And we see this in the business world as well, right? Elon Musk at Tesla, he makes sure he only brings in guys that fit his culture at Tesla. When Jeff Bezos was running Amazon, same thing. When Steve Jobs was running Apple, the late great Steve Jobs, same thing. In fact, even sports commentator Pat McAfee, I think the undeniable number one force in the sports commentating game right now, when he hires people for his staff, the first thing he looks for is culture. Is this guy I'm going to hire be a great culture fit? Now let's look at Ragone. This is a guy who played NFL football, spent time in NFL Europe one summer. I guarantee you this is a guy who didn't want to spend time in NFL Europe. It's a guy who wanted to be, getting ready for an NFL training camp. Instead, he gets allocated to Europe. He loves football enough. He's a football junkie. He wants to coach and play no matter what. He was happy going to Europe to play football. How about his first professional coaching job? This is Ragone, was with the Hartford Colonials. If you guys aren't familiar with the Hartford Colonials, you're not alone. This was a United Football League team years and years and years ago, a very short-lived minor league of professional football. That's a football junkie. That's a guy who doesn't care where he's coaching, where he's playing. He just eats and breathes football. A Sean McVay kind of guy. Great fit in the hire Ragone. But if you look at Scheelhaas as well, same exact kind of guy. This is a guy who started his coaching career. He literally was an Illinois quarterback for the Fighting Illini. Was a great quarterback. Played a lot of football. Started right out of his career 2015. His first coaching job was in football operations. Now, look, I played college football D1 AA level. Football operations is basically the guy who gets coffee for the coaches. So this is a guy who spent 4 years being big man on campus, big dog, all-time great Illinois quarterback. He loves football enough that he's happy to fetch coffee for his former coaches just to be around the game and learn to be a coach. That's a football junkie. That's a Sean McVay kind of guy. And these two hires, to me, I think they're really smart. I think they're great moves because they fit exactly what McVay is looking for. And this is one of the reasons why the Rams are really good at developing coaches, is that they make the right moves when they hire people. They make sure they hire young up and comers, guys who eat, sleep, breathe football. They just love it, just like McVay does. And when you get all those guys in a room, a lot of smart, talented people with McVay running the show, a lot of good things can happen. I love these two hires from the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, and it seems like time and time again, Coach McVay, he's the guy who can look around and he finds the talent before it's the talent. He is such a great evaluator of talent and developer of talent that it seems like in Rams culture, a coach is hired and everyone's like, we are right now, like you said, who exactly is Ragone? He seemed okay. You know, we all thought Arthur Smith was really in control of the offense. Is he? Is there some talent there? Is there something we're missing? Then you see a guy like Shieldhouse, like Iowa State, like maybe they were okay. You know, Brock Purdy was good, but he wasn't really the offensive coordinator until after Brock Purdy left. You know, is there some potential here for this guy? And these are guys where everyone's just kind of like scratching their head. Then we give it 2-3 years and we're like, wow, these guys really have kind of transformed the NFL. They've done a lot of great things. You know, they're bringing really innovative ideas. And that's when these guys break out from the Rams, go on to get, you know, big time offensive coordinator, you know, head coaching positions. I feel like Sean McVay is so gifted at picking guys that nowadays, anytime I see him make a hire, especially on the offensive side of the ball, you know, it's like you said, a football junkie, a guy who loves the game, a guy who lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes everything offensive football. They're just one of the up and coming minds in the sport. So I'm excited about these two coaching hires. And I think they're potentially both going to be really big for the Rams. I think Ragone is going to be great. I love when you get a guy who kind of takes a step back to learn. He was offensive coordinator, takes a step back to be a quarterbacks coach under Sean McVay because he sees the potential of coming onto the staff. And a guy like Shieldhouse who comes in and he's up and comer, like you said, a guy that he got the tap by McVay to get the coaching experience at the next level. I think both of these guys are going to be big time hires in the next 2 years. We're going to see just the genius of Sean McVay and how good these guys can be.